Welcome to the Times of Industry show. I'm extremely excited. This is really a critical interview. I do these very rarely because we hardly get a good time with CEO Chris Miller. He's so busy these days. He's running a phenomenal company, just phenomenal. Every product that I've tried has been amazing. And then the opportunity, the stock opportunity has been absolutely incredible with everything that's happened with Walmart and with GNC. Chris, thank you for being here, and let's get right to it. I love to have you on the show.
Yeah, good to be here, buddy. Thanks for having me.
I would love to start with how this whole thing happened with Walmart and GNC, because what we have seen is that both of these companies actually approached Koios. And I'd love to hear the story, how that come about, and what is it like to be a distributor with, Walmart is the biggest retailer in history. Obviously, GNC store is there. They have about 2,400 branches in the U.S., so they're incredibly big. You're in almost all of them. Share with us this experience.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been an incredible an honor, obviously, to be tapped on the shoulder by two of the biggest retailers in the world. I think you said something that's important for your listeners is we didn't contact them; they contacted us. And I think the reason being is several reasons, but one of them being, we create products that are very white space, very blue ocean. For those of you who've read Blue Ocean Strategy, meaning, we've created a whole new category, and that category is frankly exploding. If you're thinking of evaluating this company to be a part of it, think of that. I mean, it takes most food and beverage brands, it could take 15 years to get into a Walmart, right? It's incredibly exciting, so we fill that white space, and then we also, instead of launching traditionally like most brands do and competing at the retail space, we decided to focus on our digital side, and we have we have a huge digital audience. Our Instagram platform is almost bigger than Vitamin Waters. We've created the space and we've created niche products, and we got tapped on the shoulder by some of the biggest retailers in the world, and we're incredibly excited about it.
Chris, we have 5 products that are the Koios products. We have 4 products that are the Fit Soda. And I'm really excited about all of these 9 products. What I want to talk to you about is what is nootropics for people who don't understand. What is a mental performing drink? Because your personal story ties into all of this. So can you share with us a little bit about personally how you came to found this company and how these products basically are your dream, your vision?
Yeah. So for those of you who haven't seen an interview with me, the quick backstory is that the company was created because of my own need for health, right? I think, we used to live in an industrial economy where people have worked very hard and it was very labor intensive. And now we live in an information age, and our brains have not caught up yet with the technology. It's why Elon Musk is concerned about brain function. For those of you who don't know, he's working on biotech for the brain because he's worried we won't be able to keep up with the machines. And I think you're already seeing fallout from information overload. People are, why in a world where we have everything, are people stressed out, have anxiety, can't sleep? Mental illness is at an all-time high. It's because we're overwhelmed. I always joke with people, if you have a smart car of any kind, even your car yells at you, right? Like if your tire pressure is low, it just dings at you, and then your phone dings.
It's true.
It's just constant, and there's a lot of data to back up what I'm saying in terms of how it's affecting people. And so for me, I played football and rugby in college, and so I've always been into biohacking or being bigger, faster, stronger, better. And I think that's an age-old. You and I were talking before the show about trends. I don't think the trend will ever go away of how do I be bigger, better, faster, prettier, stronger, better than I am, right? That's as long as humans have been around, that idea has always been there and will always be there.
100%.
It'll never go away. And I think with the information age, people are drowning, right? And so people do what I did. You self-medicate. You take too much caffeine. You take too many energy drinks. In my case, I was taking too much Adderall. I've always struggled with ADHD and being on the spectrum of autistic. And so I've always struggled with certain things. And I got prescribed, our narcotic, and I overdid it. And I think it would shock most of your listeners to realize how many people are actually on Adderall, which is, one molecule away from being methamphetamine. And I think it's the next epidemic in our country. It's really gnarly. It's really bad stuff. It's not good for you. And for me, it was really affecting my life physically. It ruins cortisol functions and adrenal function and affects your sleep and your eating habits, and really can destroy your body. And I even got to the point where I was having to take sleeping pills because it's such a strong narcotic. And so the company started as my way to, how do you mimic the effects of this narcotic? Where weed was really essential for, or marijuana or CBD or cannabis was really essential for helping with the opioid crisis, which we now are all very aware of. Nootropics are, and for us, were something to replace the stimulants that everybody's ODing on, essentially. And in our case, we use earth-grown natural compounds that mimic some of these stronger, more dangerous compounds that make you feel better, think clearer, have better memory, better cognition, work better, faster, stronger, all day at your job or whatever it is that you're trying to perform in, with not only short-term benefit of focus and energy, but a long-term focus of how do we make your brain healthy. And then, on top of that, we're dealing with all-time levels of Alzheimer's, degenerative memory issues that we don't have cures for. But some of those things are preventative, right? If you're taking the right things now, you can have a bigger, better brain for a lot longer. And I think as people are aging and not retiring, that's a really important issue. So that's how it started. We started as a supplement. We realized very quickly that the market was really hungry for something better than just coffee. I always joke that coffee is sort of like using a rotary phone. There's better technology to get you to perform better than just chugging 200 milligrams of caffeine. And, from there, we decided to put out a drink. The first iteration of our drink, just didn't do well back in 2015, and it was our fault. The packaging was bad, and frankly, it just didn't taste good. 2017, we reformulated, relaunched, and it took us years and millions of dollars to get Koios to where it is, meaning to be that organic, that natural, and be that functional. And then, back to the earlier point of, to have some of the biggest retailers in the world reach out to us means that this trend is about to explode. People want healthy, functional products that make them better at what they do, period. Which is why some of the biggest companies in the world are including, look at the trend. Molson Coors just changed their name to Molson Beverage, meaning that they're now diversifying. InBev said that they want 20% of their entire portfolio to be non-alcoholic beverage because the world is moving in that direction. And, we believe that we're ahead of that explosive curve, and we've carved out a pretty good niche in the first year. And
no, 100%. Look, Chris, I what I love is the trend is there. You're not swimming against current. The millennials have been named the most health conscious generation of all times, and obviously the baby boomers, who have 60% of America's wealth, they are looking to extend their lives as much as possible. So health is and a wellness revolution is definitely there. I want to ask you. Look, you're in 2,400 GNC stores. You're in 1,100 Walmart stores with the Koios brand. You have extremely high margins, which means that people are willing to pay the price in order to get the MCT oil, the line main mushroom, and all the other proprietary formulas and great formulations that you've put together. I want to ask you about the comparison that one can make between this blue ocean environment where you don't have a lot of competitors and other companies such as, let's say, Beverages, who went from 1 million to 5 million to 15, 25, and then was acquired even for 1 billion. Can you put like
1.7?
Yeah. So can you put like an like an analog between how Koios is behaving right now on year 2, how Bai made this progress, and what you're kind of emulating the obviously success leaves a trail, and I'm sure you're studying them as much as possible and looking at ways to even eclipse them. So can you talk a little bit about where the company is today, but man, where can it be in 1 year, 2 years if you manage this right?
Yeah, I mean, uh, for those of you either that are current investors or you're evaluating, I think one of the misconceptions with food and beverage is that it should be lightning speed, and sometimes it can be. And I think if you compare Koios to any beverage company that started at the similar time, our first full year in retail, which would have been April or March of 2019, all the way through now, we're gonna go past $1 million, right? Including some of our direct to consumer business, which puts us right on par with what Buy did their first year. Buy came out in their second year and did 4 or 5 million. We're on track to do the same number. They then jumped to 15, 25, 100, 200, 400, exit 1.7 billion. Right now we have we're on pace with those numbers. We've also done it with less resources, not to toot our own horn, but we've done it with less capital. Buy went out and raised $80 million, and that's how they made that big jump. But they had the infrastructure. They had Costco. We have Walmart, we have GNC, and we're continuing to expand rapidly into retail. So we have the infrastructure to be able to grow at that pace, which is incredibly exciting. Obviously, disclaimer, it's not a guarantee, but we have the infrastructure. Celsius is another one. Celsius kind of chugged along. They even went from 15 cents all the way to $5 in about a year and a half. And we have the same infrastructure. So we have the ability to grow quickly and rapidly with high margins, and we're in a perfect place to do it. So it's incredibly exciting. Again, to repeat what I just said in terms of what we did in the first year, it puts us, in my humble opinion, it puts us in the top percentage of performance in food and beverage, period.
Yeah,
It
Chris,
just
and
does. So,
obviously on my end, the same thing. Disclaimer: I am a shareholder, and I am very biased on the company. I love the company. I've done a lot of research on the company. Full disclaimer can be at the description box below, and obviously at the end of the screens at the end of the interview. But let's get back to the meat here. Uh, Chris, now I want to talk to you about the valuation of the company. Currently, shares are near all-time lows, which is the main reason I'm having this interview with you right now. On the valuation side, it's quite incredible. The whole operation is valued at about 9 million US dollars,
yeah,
and you're projected to do around 5 million in sales in revenue this year.
yeah,
So what investors looking at this can have two conceptions: either wow, this is insane on the anomalous side, or what am I missing here? What is the misperception that you believe the market has currently? Because obviously shares traded at 500% above what they trade right now. Last year, when Walmart was just announced, and we didn't know that Walmart would sell the amount of volume that they do for Koios, and that you'd have repeat customers. So, can you talk a little bit about this? And can you also talk about some of the things that you're working on, catalysts for the company going forward?
yeah. I mean, I think when an announcement comes out like that, and you announce that many stores, Walmart, you say you're in 4,000 stores, people start to do the math in their head, and they think, if you were doing X amount, you should generate this much revenue, which part of that is true. The problem with working with big retailers is that there's generally lag, meaning it can take 30, 60, 90 days when you're starting to get paid. It can also take time to create awareness at the store level, right? So just because you're in a store doesn't mean you'll necessarily sell product. Now we've been incredibly lucky to have high volume and high velocity in almost every store we're in. Now, granted, with that being said, there's always stores that you end up dropping and letting go, or it's not the right region, or you don't have the right coverage. So it takes time to build some of that. We call it velocity. It takes time to build that velocity, and I think the excitement over Walmart was massive, and um, um, when our first financials came out, that included the first part of that retail cycle. They were a little bit low. At least that's what the general perception, I think, was. And to us, they were exciting because, even over last quarter, we've grown revenues 1,000%, and margin went up 100%, and they're just getting better and better and better. So I think some of the slow start, or at least the perception of the slow start, may have affected it a bit. But yeah, I mean, I think if you look at our financials, we have very little to zero debt. In fact, some of that debt that we record as debt is actually receivables in some sense. And so we almost literally have zero debt. We have a strong cash position. Revenues are strong. And yeah, I would tell people looking at financials, yeah, the beginning of the year is always slow too for food and beverage. Really where we're going to pick up steam is over the summertime. Coming into the spring is really the busiest time. So we expect a lot of fireworks, coming up. And so, yeah, I mean, if you consider 4 or 5 million in revenue, the valuation could be considered low. It'd be a great time to be involved. So, yeah. And then in terms of, go ahead.
I want to ask you, on this matter a bit, to dive a little bit deeper into this, because what you've been able to create is a brand that has a lot of pricing power. Your margins are amazing. They're like ice cream. Can you talk a little bit about the way to build the brand, the way that you focus on this company? Because I know you love this company and you love the vision, and this is your baby. Could you talk about the team and the culture that you're building in this company, and what are your goals with this company going forward?
Yeah, so that was a lot of questions, so I'll try to chunk those down. But yeah, I mean, we have an incredible team. I mean, we have, if you go to our website, you can see some of the guys on our team and on our advisory board. We have guys from Constellation and Molson Coors and guys who've been with Walmart for years, and we continue to add to that team. In terms of building the brand, we, like I said in the beginning of the call, we did it a bit differently. We really focused on being a digital forward company, a communications company. I think it's always interesting when you talk to somebody like Elon Musk and you think he's in tech, and then he'll tell you he's not, he's in something else. For us, it was really about building a digital audience and building a big family. We're hyperactive about communicating with our clients at every level, not only from retailers, but, down to the person who messages us every day on Instagram and if you're not following us on Instagram, you should. But really building a community, building a tribe, building a group of people that will help us move retail. And yeah, as we've grown in retail, we've also really built out our direct to consumer model, which is where you see some of the increase in margin. We really relaunched the site last September, and we've seen explosive growth on our direct consumer portal. And yeah, we have some new products coming out that are really exciting that we've been working on, and that we're pushing to get out, in the first quarter or early second quarter, that we're incredibly excited about, that we know are going to create more volume and add more, value to our direct to consumer client base and our retailers as well. So,
do you feel, as I do, that the beverage industry is in a shakeup mode?
100%. Yeah, I look at food and beverage like tech. It's like where tech was in 2008 or 2007 or 2001, meaning look at what Halo Top's done, or Smart Sweets, or Beyond Burger. How much did they? What's their current valuation? It's crazy because
it's in the billions.
Yeah, the whole world is looking for, give me a better alternative for my body that's amazing for me, but make it taste awesome and do good things for the environment and for your people. I just watched a show on DuPont the other night that was, people know that big corporations haven't been doing the best job for people. And I'm not saying that about big beverage companies, but there's a huge shift happening. People want better for you products and they want a direct story from the brand itself. And so you see these big companies like Molson, InBev, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, investing not only in companies like ours, but buying them out because we're the greatest incubator in the world, right? But yeah, it's exciting to see even the beverage and alcohol companies getting in the non-alcoholic space, which they are. I know Molson's bought kombucha companies. InBev bought Highball Energy. So they're all in the game, and it is a massive shakeup, 100%.
Chris, if people want to reach out, get some more information, specifically about the opportunity, maybe about how to order online, any and all inquiries, where can they reach out? Where can they call or email?
Yeah, so we have an investor tab on our website. We have a team of people that can take phone calls if you have questions about being involved in the stock or even about the company itself. We have a full team of people devoted to that, so you can call somebody and actually speak to somebody. Our investor deck, all of our press releases are on that investor tab. So koiosbeveragecorp.com, go to the investor tab. Additionally, you can obviously spend time on the site and find all of our store locations. You can place an order online. You can go to Amazon, Walmart.com, GNC.com, are all places you can actually buy the product if you can't find it at your local store. But koiosbeveragecorp.com's got all the information you would need.
Do you ship only within the 50 states?
No, we do ship out of the country. It depends on what you're ordering because we have supplements as well. Some of the drinks we won't ship too far just because it's cost prohibitive, but Walmart and GNC might.
Chris, thank you very much for taking the time today, and we'll definitely circle back.
Yeah, good to be on the show, buddy.
Thank you.